Hello students, how are you all? Welcome to online classes. In our last video we have completed the first chapter of the first year course, some basic concepts of chemistry. Bits also completed. In this session I am going to discuss a new chapter called Structure of Atom, one of the important chapters, and the weightage also they are expecting at least one bit in every objective examinations. So sometimes based on this chapter, related to this chapter concepts, they can expect one more question also in all competitive examinations. And this is one of the important chapters because the reason is, so maximum fundamentals located in this chapter to understand other chapters. So that's why listen carefully and take down the notes perfectly. So let us start our discussion. So that is structure of atom. Structure of atom. Lecture 1. First video in this chapter. Now, so as you studied in the first chapter, the first atomic theory was given by John Dalton. So as per that theory, he gave many points, postulates given. I am not discussing that, already discussed in the first chapter. So now atom means, it is the word which is taken from atomio. Atomio means uncuttable or undivisible, so non-divisible. So we cannot break into parts. So that is the meaning. The first atomic theory was given by John Dalton. So it is the landmark in chemistry, especially atomic theory, John Dalton given. So this is one of the landmark in which one? Chemistry especially. As per this theory, atom is the ultimate particle of matter especially. So now as per that he gave many postulates, but the drawbacks we need to study in this chapter. The drawbacks of John Dalton theory is why atoms are combined and stability of which one, that is compounds or atom, how atoms are stable, how atoms of different elements having different chemical reactivity, and next after that how the compounds are formed by the combinations of atoms of different elements, and what is the origin of electromagnetic radiation. These are the four drawbacks we can observe in that theory especially. To overcome those drawbacks, we need to continue our discussion in a different way. First of all, I'll write these points, afterwards I'll continue this discussion. Yes, students, these are the limitations of Dalton's atomic theory. In that stability of atom, we did not explain. Why do elements show different chemical reactivity? Formation of molecule by the combination of two or more atoms of same elements or different elements. Origin and nature of electromagnetic radiation. And the next topic is subatomic particles. Atom consists of small particles like proton, neutron, electron, mesons, neutrinos, like that. Those are called subatomic particles. And atom consists of small atomic particle. The presence of subatomic particles discovered by passing with electricity. So electricity is passed through atom by first Davis, followed by Michael Faraday, J.K. Thomson, G.J. Stoney, Julius Fluker. Many members are there. They were passed electricity through atoms, and finally they discovered subatomic particles like electrons, protons, neutrons, mesons, neutrinos, like that. Subatomic particle means subatomic particles. Atom consists of protons, neutrons, electrons, mesons, neutrinos. So many are there. So among them protons, neutrons, electrons called fundamental particles. Fundamental particles of atom or fundamental particle atom or building blocks of atom. Building blocks of an atom. It means by this only atom will be built. That's why named as building blocks of atom. The complexity, in the beginning we don't know about atom, what are present in that and what is its structure, how electrons arrange, we don't know exactly. So it means there is a complexity in the study of atom. So the complexity in the study of atom was further revealed, the secret is revealed by discovery of many fundamental particles in atom. So those are discovery of electrons, discovery of protons, discovery of neutrons and discovery of other fundamental particles, right? The complexity of atom was further revealed by discovery of following. So that is first one is discovery of cathode rays. Cathode rays nothing but electrons. Next, discovery of anode rays. Nothing but protons. Next, discovery of neutrons. Those are indicated as N. Discovery of X-rays especially. It means gamma rays, X-rays, beta rays, alpha rays. So we discuss those also. Next, discovery of isotopes and isobars. By all this discovery, so the complexity of atom was revealed. It means the study of atom is easy by discovering all these particles which are present in the atom. Now, the first one is discovery of electron. The first one is discovery of electron. Discovery of electron. These are called cathode rays. The experiment name, as you know, that cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Cathode ray discharge tube experiment. By this, J.J. Thomson discovered electron. Before J.J. Thomson, Julius Flicker, next many members are there. They passed and they built the cathode ray discharge tube. First of all, cathode ray discharge. Yes, it is. The length is 50 centimeters. Okay. Then this side cylindrical one actually is. two electrodes they have taken. One is cathode, another one is anode. This is cathode, it is anode. Cathode. So an anode connected with a battery. Okay. And through this I am passing 10,000 volts of electricity. It means high temperature it is. Nothing but high temperature. And there is a pump called vacuum pump it is. This is vacuum pump it is. Okay. This is anode. This is anode. This is cathode. Right. Cathode is negative charge, anode is positive charge. So, when they apply high temperature and low pressure, high temperature and low pressure. Students, why they are using high temperature and low pressure? So, by passing high temperature at that time when you connected this, so few invisible rays, not visible rays are passing from negative electrode to positive electrode. Negative electrode to positive electrode. It means to move towards a positive electrode that must be oppositely charged, that is a negatively charged one. So they thought that the ray which is passing towards positive, it means the ray has a negative charge. It means the ray has a particles which have, what is that, a negatively charged. So that is what they decided by this experiment. Actually, so those are not, the rays are not, it means the particles are not generated from the electrode, the particles are generated by the gas which is present in the, which one, that is cathode ray discharge. For example, hydrogen gas is there. H decomposed, it lost one electron, converted into hydrogen is there, it lost one electron, H plus electron. Clear? This electron in the form of a ray moving from negative electrode to positive electrode because it has a negative charge. Getting my point? So this is the cathode ray discharge tube experiment. So first of all, a few observations they given. So by this, so this was done by high temperature is 10,000 volts, 10 to the power of minus 4 to 10 to the power of minus 3 atmospheric pressure, low pressure. Why low pressure is used? Just find out the answer for this question, students. Now observations will see by this experiments. Few invisible rays are moving from cathode to anode. Those rays are not visible, but their behavior is visible. If they put holes here and put some fluorescent material, whatever it is, like your TV picture tube, if these rays fall on the surface of that, that will be glow, a tiny flash we can observe. So it means these rays are not visible, but their behavior can be possible to visit. Next point is, in presence of electrical and magnetic field, so they will be behave as a negatively charged particles. That's why they decided that yes, they are negatively charged. Next point is, in absence of electrical and magnetic field, they are traveled in a straight line direction. Next one is, last one. So the nature of these cathode rays does not depend upon electrodes, especially depends upon gas, electrodes and gas. Because if you take any gas, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, whatever, in that the common particle is electron. Obviously, electrons are the fundamental particles in every atom. So that is what they concluded by these conclusions. I'll write all these conclusions on the board so you can enter. Theoretical points, that's why I will write now. Okay, students, I have written all the points here. So first one is cathode rays move from cathode to anode. The rays are not visible, but their behavior we can observe like a TV picture. In the absence of electrical and magnetic field, they will travel in a straight line direction because there is no effect of electrical and magnetic field. In presence of electrical and magnetic field, those rays are behaved like a negatively charged particles. It means like electrons. Next, the characteristics of cathode rays does not depend upon nature of the gas taken and the material of electrode taken. Whatever the electrode you take, whether platinum, palladium, nickel, whatever the metal, and whatever the gas you take, but the nature of cathode rays will not be depending upon these two factors. This point is very, very important. Afterwards, we will discuss the discovery of X-rays. So, when the X-rays, especially discovered by William Röntgen, so he don't know how to put the name of these rays. That's why he thought that some X-rays. That's why it was named like X-rays, 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 X-rays. So he don't know how to give the name. That's why he named it as some X-rays. So simply the name is continuing. So that is X-ray. Now, so X-rays, how do form X-rays? When cathode rays so fall on a metal with a heavy atomic mass, then generates a new type of rays called X-rays. These rays are neutral, high penetrating power. That's why they can penetrate. It means passed through a thin foil also. That's why we are using X-rays to know the interior parts of the body. They can pass through our body also because they have high energy and high penetrating power. So I will write all these points, students, now. Okay, students, so whatever I told you, I have written on the board. X-rays are formed by passing a cathode rays on a particular material having high atomic mass. They have more penetrating power and with a small wavelength. Wavelength less, obviously energy will be more. So next, these rays are affected by photographic plate, more penetrating neutral electromagnetic radiation. That's why we are using for to study the interior parts of the body. Okay, next. After this, charge to mass ratio of electron. So you will follow the sequence of textbook. Follow the sequence which is given in the textbook. Charge to mass ratio of electron. Charge to mass ratio of electron, especially of electron ion. Right? Electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson, remember. This ratio also given by J.J. Thomson. As per that, as per the cathode ray discharge tube experiment. This is by cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Cathode ray discharge tube experiment. Okay. So by that he has done many attempts. So the experiment is like this. This is cathode ray. One is cathode, another one is anode. This is the tube he has taken, and like this, right? Cathode rays. And another tube continuation he has taken like this. Okay. There is a fluorescent material. It means light hits on this material, it glows. Right? The fluorescent material they have taken tube. So then here travels in a straight line direction. It will be deviated. It will be deviated. It is point A, point B, point C. Yes. Okay. So now this is electrical field plus and minus, north, south. One is magnetic field north, south, plus minus will be electrical field in different directions, x direction as well as y direction they both. And they started to do experiment. So these are cathode rays, it is cathode, it is anode, it is negative, it is positive. It travel and holes are there, then obviously it travels in this direction. So here a few rays are deflected. Now the nature of deviation or deflection depends upon a few points. Nature of deviation of rays depends on three factors. One is charge. First one is charge. Charge is more obviously if it is a negative charge, electrons negative charge, cathode rays are negative charge. So these are negative charge. Move towards a positive charged plate. It is a positive charged plate. Move towards a positive charge. Obviously deflection is more. So that's why charge is directly proportional to deflection or deviation. Right? Charge increases, deflection of rays also increases towards the positive plate of electrical field. Second point is mass. Smaller the mass of a particle, obviously larger the deflection. It means to deflect, mass must be light. Lighter the particle, obviously deflection is more. If fat person is there, difficult to move. Slim person is there, obviously easy to move. That's why mass decreases, deflection will be increased. I am not writing all the statements, easy to remember like this. Next, strength of electric field and magnetic field. If more the strength of electrical and magnetic field, obviously the deflection also more. This is directly proportional to deflection of what are the cathodes? Deflection of cathodes. Clear? So these are the points. Now observe carefully. In presence of only electrical field, move towards a positive plate and the cathode ray hits a point A. In presence of only magnetic field, so it hits the cathode ray tube to the point C. If you balance electrical field as well as a magnetic field perfectly, then cathode ray hits a point B and it's traveled in a straight line direction. Yes. First point, fourth point. In presence of only electric field, ray hits point A. Next, in presence of only magnetic field, ray hits point C. By balancing electric field and magnetic field, ray hits point B. It means in a straight line direction. So by doing this experiment many times, by observing all these observations, he gave which one, that is charge to mass ratio of an electron. That's not given in our syllabus. We just take the ratio directly now. So now, by observing all these experiments, by above measurements, so E by M ratio was given by J.J. Thomson. So that is E by M that is equal to 1.758 minus 1.758 into 10 to the power of 11 coulomb per kg, which is obtained from charge of electrons minus 1.6099 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs by Mass of electron is 9.109 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kgs. So by this, Coulomb per kg, if you done this, you will get this value. He gave the charge to mass ratio, where me equal to mass of electron, E equal to charge of electron. Okay, so this is given by J.J. Thomson. Next one, charge on electron. How do you charge on electron? Yes. Charge on electron by Millikan oil drop experiment. Millikan oil drop experiment. Students, we don't want these experiments and paragraphs of data, structures, otherwise diagrams. No need for objective. That's why I am giving directly. The charge was given by Millikan by oil drop experiments, that is equal to charge of an electron equal to, that is minus 1.6099 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. 19 coulombs. That is charge of electron, which is given by, who's that, Millikan oil drop experiment. So as per this experiment, we should know few formulas, that is Q equal to N into U. Q equal to N into U. E means charge on electron, Q means charge on oil drop. The charge on oil drop is an integral multiple of electric charge. Integral multiple of electric charge. Remember this. This is formula Q equal to N into E. Few simple problems we'll observe on the basis of charge on electron. Okay, students, take down this problem. So, on the basis of this, a certain particle carries 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 16 coulombs of charge. Calculate the number of particles. This is a formula for this. Derivation is there, and obviously another few simple formulas also there. Those are not required for objective point of view. We should do problems on the basis of this one. We are expecting number. Formula is Q equal to N into E. N equal to Q by E. Q equal to charge given is 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 16 coulombs. And E means charge of electron equal to minus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. So then N equal to Q 2.5 into 10 to the power of minus 16 coulombs, and charge equal to 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Coulomb cancel. So this sign indicates only the charge. While solving problems, you should not take this charge. On solving this, you will get 1.56 into 10 to the power of 3. 10 to the power of 3 electrons. Right? It means 1560. Number will be 1560. Such problems are possible on this. Next is electron volt. Electron volt. Every time we will use this 1 eV. Electron volt means it is unit of energy. The energy gained by one electron, when electron placed in between the two electrodes, the potential difference of electrodes is only 1 volt. That is called electron volt. it is unit of energy, especially. So the energy means it is defined as the energy gained by an electron when placed in between two electrodes of potential difference is 1 volt, called electron volt. So the potential difference of two electrodes is 1 volt. In between, if you placed electron, something energy is gained by electron. That energy is called as electron volt. So now kinetic energy, it means kinetic energy equal to Q into kinetic energy equal to Q into Q means you know that already, charge of electron. It is 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19. In this problem, Q means charge of other particle. Remember, here charge of electron, kinetic energy. This is kinetic energy of electron into 1 volt I am passing right now. So it is coulombs actually. 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. 1 volt means joule by coulomb. Volt means joule per coulomb. Then coulomb cancel. 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Kinetic energy. Energy units are joules or ergs only, you have to remember. Clear it is. This is one kinetic energy of one electron, 1.6022. Energy of an electron, nothing but 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Okay. Next. Okay, kinetic energy of an electron equal to 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. Kinetic energy equal to 1.6022 10 to the power of minus 19 joules. It is also equal to 1 electron volt. Remember, 1 electron volt equal to that many joules, right? So now, so mass of electron, till now charge of electron completed. Now mass of electron. Mass of an electron. It is obtained from charge and charge to mass ratio. Charge and charge to mass ratio. Mass of electron equal to charge to mass ratio, right? Charge to mass ratio. So that is equal to minus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs by charge to mass ratio is minus 1.7588 into 10 to the power of minus 11 coulomb per kg. Kg will be shifted to numerator. Obviously, answer will be in the kgs. So the answer is 9.109 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kgs. It is also 9.109 into 10 to the power of minus 28 grams. Kilograms into grams multiplied by 1000. Clear? Into 10 to the power of 3. 1000 means 10 to the power of 3. 10 to the power of minus 31 into 10 to the power of 3 equal to 10 to the power of minus 28 grams. Clear it is? So this is mass of electron. Now, mass of electron relative to that of mass of an electron relative to that of hydrogen. mass of one hydrogen atom equal to mass of one hydrogen atom equal to 1.008 AMs. You know already AM. So 1.008 into 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. You know 1 AMU equal to 1.66 it is. 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 24 grams. 1 AMU I put. After multiplication you will get 1.6736 into 6736 into 10 to the power of minus 23 grams mass of one hydrogen atom, that is equal to this much. Mass of hydrogen by mass of one hydrogen atom by mass of one electron equal to ratio and take. Mass of one hydrogen 1.6736 into 10 to the power of minus 23 grams by mass of one hydrogen equal to 9.109 into 10 to the power of minus 28 grams. I am taking ratio. For any ratio there are no units, that's why gram cancel. On solving this you will get, so it is around 1837 by, right, it is 1837. Just observe clearly. Mass of hydrogen is 1837 times than that of which one? Electron. It means mass of electron is 1837 times less than that of mass of hydrogen. Mass of one hydrogen atom is more than that of mass of one electron. Mass of electron is 1 by 1837th part of which one? Mass of hydrogen. That's what a very mass of an electron equal to 1 by 1837 of mass of hydrogen. So this is very important, and they are expecting questions from these fundamental particles also in your objective exams. That's why I am giving you all this data. Right? This is the data regarding the electron. Till now I have discussed electron. Now charge we will discuss. Charge of electron equal to charge of electron minus 1.6022 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Otherwise 4.82 10 to the power of, in electrostatic units, minus 10 it is. Minus 10 electrostatic units. You have to remember. Otherwise, it is considered as minus 1. So, it will be considered as this one or this one or this one, minus 1. So, unit negative charge, that is. It is taken as unit negative charge. Unit negative charge. Here it is. This is the charge of electron. Next, mass of electron equal to, already given, 9.109 into 10 to the power of minus 31 kgs or 9.109 into minus 10 to the power of 28 grams. So otherwise 0.0054 AMUs, otherwise unified masses 0.0000 it is actually 0.0054 AMUs are unified mass. Otherwise, so this is 1 by 1837th mass of hydrogen atom. You have to remember all this. So students, in this session I have discussed only about electron, discovery of electron and deflections, characteristics of cathode rays, charge of electron, mass of electron, and the mass of electron which is relative to that of hydrogen and their features. In our next video we discuss about positive rays, nothing but anode rays followed by neutrons and gamma rays, X rays, okay, beta rays, alpha rays, we'll discuss in the next video.